What's up, y'all? Monday morning in the shop, getting some stuff knocked out. Want to show you some really cool things. Made some progress over the weekend, getting some stuff knocked out. So come on over here. I'll show you guys the Black Sheep engine. Just got to degree the cam. I made one mistake on this. I got to fix, and then it's ready to go in. So this is the Innovators West belt drive for the LS. This thing is badass. As you guys can see, we got our cam pickup. We got our lower sprocket on there, our nice gear. This is a huge upgrade from the timing chain, and I will say it fits amazing. Dart block, I think 5 out of 10 it would fit perfect. I didn't get the 5 out of 10. When you get into the aftermarket casting stuff, they're not all the same. They're a little bit different here and there. So had to maneuver this guy a little bit to get it in there, and we're gonna install it on the Glizzard today, and there's a couple things I want to show you, just some like tips and tricks. Scott helped me install this, and Scott is very good at making sure that I don't screw things up and teaching me the right way. So for example, when we put it in there the first time, it fit in there good, but the bolt holes weren't perfect because the casting on this block is a little bit beefier up here than a stock block. So when you would put it on there, it would go on, but the bolt holes were not perfectly centered. So I took it off and took it over to a stock block and put that thing on there, and boom, this thing fit absolutely perfect. So you know it's nothing with this that's goofy. It's the block that's just not a stock block. There are little things here and there that might be different. So if I were to just install that guy on there, right? Everything was kind of pushed down a little bit. For one, it was going to give me issues down here on my pan rail, and I was going to have some issues with the oil pan sealing properly. The second thing is you got these two seals, which, let me grab this, I'll show you guys. These are your two seals, right? And as you can imagine, they need to stop oil from getting out of the engine. I would think it's very important to make sure whatever you have inside of there is perfectly centered, not off-center, where it's like smashing the seal on one side and leaving an opening on the other. And that's what would have happened if we were to just cram it in there. So there's a lot of due diligence on the installer's part to make sure they're doing things correctly. This is an absolutely badass front drive setup. The price is amazing, the quality is amazing, the parts are amazing, comes with all of the hardware. Super impressed by it. And if you, the end user, don't take your time to make sure it's done correctly, you'll be like, oh man, this thing's a piece of shit. And that's kind of what bothers me. Is I'm all about being fair and transparent. If I were to get this and it didn't work and it fit like shit and I had no hardware with it, I would be like, hey guys, I got this, and you know, it's okay. It's really not that nice. You're gonna have to do a lot of work. But just, this is a very high quality piece right here. Comes with all of the hardware, everything included, everything's super nice. As far as front drives go, I don't think you could beat this, especially for the price. I mean, the price on this is, you know, hundreds of dollars cheaper than the competitors. Looks amazing, absolutely amazing hardware, machine works amazing. I'm blown away by it. So all I'm saying is, if you guys are getting this, if you guys get any parts, just make sure that you don't ever like leave any loose ends on your end and then blame someone else. So we're all about accountability here, and we got this guy on there fitting perfect. So what we had to do is we just had to like knock down a little area on the block just to make it fit perfectly. And I think it's more of an aluminum block. I stuck this, like I said, I put this up to a iron LS factory block, and there was room to spare everywhere. I think the aluminum block that Dart did is just a little bit different. One mistake that I did here, talking about accountability, is I put our crank pickup in there. Turn this over and show you guys. So there it is. There's a couple ways you could do it. You could drill a hole and just stick the piece of metal in there and epoxy it. We tapped it, put the screw in there. Comes with the kit, might as well. I made a crucial mistake. So, factory front cover, cam sensor. As you can see, the position is quite a bit different. This would be like down here, so that's like what, like what would you consider that, like 4 or 5 o'clock? Mm-hmm. Where now we're at like, you can go anywhere from, what is that, 11 to 2, 11 to 2. My angles are going to be off. So if you guys can see here, I put this in the same exact position as
the old one.
The old one, which is fine if the reference angle is the same, if this sensor were down here. This is 100% my error. Didn't realize this till after it was drilled and installed. We drilled it on there, went on perfect. What I did was I pretty much held this up there. I was like, oh, that's where it's got to go. Traced it down, made a mark, put a punch, drill it out, tap it, put it in there. Everything went perfect. How perfect did it go? I was like, man, I'm practically a CNC at this point. Get everything on there, stand back, and I'm like,
oops.
Damn, that's not right. So now there's going to be a hole in this. So you live and you learn. I know on this one, I'm not going to use this. This would be a great template if I was going to continue to run the stock front cover, which I will run the front cover with this wheel with the sensor in this exact position on many other builds. Stuff that doesn't have the front cover. But that's if you're using the factory front cover. When you're using something like this, the only way that you can do it is really you need to get your degrees right. I don't know if it's, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. You have to set it to like 195 and go back 60 degrees, and then you got to mark it here and there, and you mark it and you drill it and you tap it, and then you got to set your reference angle on the Holley. There's a lot of moving parts to that. But I'm just telling you guys, I messed up. My bad. So we got the first one on here. We're going to install this one on the Glizzard. And as you guys can see, it's got a factory front cover. And it's got a motor plate on there. Probably going to have to trim the motor plate a little bit, I think, for this guy. In some areas. Some motor plate trimming. This is part of it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of it. Oh yeah, some definite motor plate trimming. I don't even think this one fit this one. That front gasket's like stuck in there. It's pinched in between the motor plate. So we're gonna. It's always fun. It's always fun. All right. Alright y'all, we got everything disassembled and off that we're not using, ready for the Innovators West stuff to go on. This is a pretty good example if you are already running a cam gear with a factory front cover and you're making a switch over, all the stuff you're going to have to pull off. You're going to want to look into a couple different things here. So let me scoot down in here. First of all, this if you are running a factory oil pump and you're running this now, you're making the change to go over to that, you will no longer be running a factory oil pump. So you need to block off your oil passages. They do come with a little freeze plug in there, but for us, we just pipe plug it because this guy here is already set up for it. So if you're on the factory front cover, you just put a pipe plug in there and block that off. Some of the dart block stuff you can block in the back, but this one here, as you guys can see, it's blocking the front. One thing is it's not flush, so we're going to take it out and we're going to grind it down until it's flush, sits in there perfect, and then we'll be good to go. Other than that, it's just kind of like mock-up. So if you grab this guy here, let's see if this is similar to the dart stuff. Here, you take this for me. Slide this guy in there. Oh no, that's perfect. That's perfect. So where the dart block is a little bit, the casting's a little bit different up here in this area, right here and right here. So it was touching on the dart stuff, but as you can see, this one here, it fits in there perfect. It fits really nice. You put the bottom on first, obviously. And those bolt holes are way off. So it looks like we got to drop the pan. Lucky for us, we can just pull the steering rack out of it. And it's got a bolt in there. It's not welded out, thank God. We pull the steering rack out of it and drop the pan just enough to get this on first. And this is kind of like, again, this is one of those things where you're like, you really got to pay attention. It's just sitting a little bit high with the gasket. And it could be something where you could put these bolts in there and try to pull it down, but I don't really know if that's something. You really want to just take your time. So if it takes an extra 2 minutes to drop the rack, get everything where it needs to be. Yeah, it's a little bit off center. That gasket's pushing it up. So this is part of it. Definitely part of it. Now we need a 2-piece oil pan where the front falls off the oil pan. Again, kind of like I was saying, if you were just to install this right now, you probably could get it in there and the bolts might pull it down a little bit, but it's not where it needs to be. All of this stuff needs to be loose when you put your gears on, and let the gear center itself with the seal and then tighten everything down. If you were to tighten this down all the way, you're gonna put that in a bind. You could like fold over one side of the seal. By the way, there's a whole instruction manual with this whole thing, so guys, feel free to look at that. This is just kind of like DIY. This is me doing it. This is how I'm doing it. Might learn something from it, might like an extra step, or you might learn from my mistakes and say, hey, don't do that. So that's kind of, we're just documenting it. So David, looks like we get to have more fun and take more stuff apart.
This is the one?
Yeah. I'm just trying to tackle the easy things before I have to take a rack out of this, to be honest. Oh yeah. It's in there. Alright, so now all we gotta do is put some thread tape on it. So we'll let that cool down. You know, let's not let that cool down in there. Let's take it out. And then we'll put some thread tape on it, and then we'll drop the rack, and we will install the rest of this. You know, touch the socket's hot as hell right now.
Right.
I want to touch it so bad just to know how hot it is. Alright guys, we've got the pan. As you can see, it's loose, has some play. If you come right back here so they could look in one of these bolt holes, right back here. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So you see how the actual threads in the block are not lined up? Before it was high, so it was like this, right? So see how it's high? Like the cover's high? Look what the seal's doing. The seal's not centered on the crank right now. So it would not work. It would leak like shit. You'd tear the seal up. It would just not be good. So you have to install your crank gear with this loose so it has some play. And then you'll let the hub of this, right, the seal surface, will actually center it. Now, before we put this on, we need to measure it. Oh, that slid on pretty good. But this crank was run before, so it's a little bit lower right there. We'll need to, a lot of these stuff, a lot of balancers, they need to be honed. The hub needs to be honed or else you'll never get it off again. So we'll get our dial calipers, get a measurement. If we need to hone this out, we'll hone it out just a little bit. But they might need a little bit of just a touch up. Get it to slide right on. As you guys can see, it's keyed, so it goes right on. It's got your machine holes for removing it with like a balancer puller, which is very nice. And we're very close, so just get a quick measurement, be able to get this on, get this kind of mocked up. Putting these on, like the other one, we probably had on and off like 10 times because it requires a lot of due diligence. You need to check it, make sure everything's good. Race cars aren't supposed to leak. Some people are like, oh, it's leaking, it's just a race car. They're not supposed to leak. It's just like a normal car. Your normal car don't leak. Unless it's David's truck, that thing leaks. I don't know why. Anyways.
She do be leaking a little bit.
She be leaking a little bit. The park, you know where he parks the previous day because you look in the parking lot. Alright guys, we just pressed our lower hub on. We honed it. If we didn't hone it, it probably wouldn't have gone on.
Oh, it would have been a pain in the ass.
It would have been a pain in the ass.
On that thing forever.
That slid on
perfect.
As perfect as I want it. Tight enough where I don't got to worry about anything. It doesn't have any play in it. Slid right on. Should be able to come off easy. Put it on with a little bit of anti-seize. I'm happy with it. We left all of these bolts loose but in there, and before I put it on there, I grabbed it and I wiggled it around. It had a bunch of play. Now it is completely centered off of the hub. So that's just what we want. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna hand tighten these right now. I'm gonna tighten the pan up just a little bit because I'm done messing with anything with the lower. I really shouldn't have to mess with anything other than having to put the belt on. So now we're going to work on getting the upper half on there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure our crank thrust. It comes with a Torrington bearing, a roller bearing, and we're gonna put that on. The instructions tell you how to do everything. I'm just giving you like an overview, and if you guys read the instructions and I miss something, just send me a DM and say, hey, fix your shit before you blow it up. Say, all right. So close to being perfect. We got everything on there. It's got like no thrust, no play, no end play. Pop everything off, take the cam retainer plate off, sand down the cam retainer plate, reinstall everything, remeasure it, go from there. It's important. You just got I got nothing to say. I mean, ignorance is bliss. I would have loved not to just check this and be like, oh yeah, it was good, but here, I'm doing it right. So I don't have any problem doing this other than this is the LSX block opposed to like a dart block, so the cam retainer plate's different. This is like this big thing here, and it uses these Torx bit. I'm not saying anything, but the Torx bit stuff and me don't have a great relationship, if you know what I'm saying. And I don't have any other Torx bit stuff here.
You do.
Do I?
Yeah, that whole kit.
No, I'm talking about if I mess one up. I'm just thinking ahead if I...
There's some backups to certain sizes.
Yeah. Someone, I sell this motor, someone pulls it off, and there's like a grade 5 just hex-headed bolt shaved down in there. This guy didn't get along well with those Torx bits. This is why it's important to measure and read the instructions. But we just lucked out on the dart block. That shit was on the money. Didn't even have to touch it. Oh, it's got some play now. Alright, we've been sanding the ever-living shit out of this cam retainer plate. We finally got it. Not quite where I want it, but I'm not going to measure it again.
Parameters.
It's within the parameters. It's at 4 thou. It needs to be between 1 and 12. I have to take all of this off and Loctite the hardware. So what I'll do is when I go to Loctite the hardware, I'll pull the cover off, sand it down one last time, clean it off, put it on there with Loctite, and then be good with it. So yeah, I mean that for a minute there, like we sanded the shit out of it, nothing. Took it off, sanded the shit out of it again, nothing. Took it off, sanded the shit out of it again, nothing. Then finally we just got something, which was nice to see, because I thought I was going crazy. I said, David, I was like, something's wrong. This was like a hour we spent doing this. So this is why today's video is late. You can thank the LSX block for that. Alright, one last time with these guys here, and then we're home free. Alright, y'all, we got everything squared away with the cam retainer plate. Now it is what I believe to be one of the more difficult parts. We're going to install this, and then we need to put the cam gear with the Torrington bearing through here without tearing this seal. It's very important you don't tear the seal. Fits like a glove. So I'm not going to put these top two in because I'm going to use the bracket for the cam sync. So we'll put a couple of these in here just like the bottom. Everything's loose right now, so nothing's really tight. It's just kind of holding it in place because, again, we want to center off of that seal surface. So, guys, give this a thumbs up if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean I do know what I'm talking about, it's if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm going to try to put it all in there with this on. Maybe not. Oh, that shit was stuck on there. I should have left it on there. Instantly regret that decision. Give me that screwdriver. We're taking this guy back out. We're putting it all on there together. So stupid. Did you just watching?
Yeah, I was just watching.
You're just watching, huh? It's alright. Alright. I never claimed to be the smartest one ever. Just so we all are aware of that. I try to do the most. There's a difference. Oh! You ain't falling down there! Not on my watch. God, you have to put this on. It's machined perfectly where it has to go on straight and square. The wheels are falling off. Alright, feel good about that. Now I'm gonna put those bolts in, knowing that this is gonna have to take a couple tries. I'm so stupid. Why didn't I just do this before? Okay. That's how you do it, folks. God, I'm so stupid. I don't know if the bearing's on there.
I don't either. No, don't take it off. Just look through the holes.
If I mean, it has to be on there because it fits so perfect. Dude, this is how you install it, guys. Cheat code. Put everything on the front cover first, and then just line everything up. That is cheating. That's cheating. You guys learned it here first.
I don't know. I liked you trying to put the bearing through
I'm sure
first,
you did.
And then
I'm sure you
try
did.
to get it to line up.
Dude, I got the cheat code now. Y'all need that shit done? You hit me up. I love how, listen, I keep it real. I'll show you me dropping every single thing I touch, and I'll show you me struggling trying to get that shit on. That's fine. Keep it real around here.
Do you need to Loctite those?
I do. Thanks, David. She would have come off and hit you on the face in the start line.
Mm.
So really, you just saved yourself. I feel like it's supposed to be red Loctite on that, but blue is what I have in my hand. I'm just using an obscene amount, and it essentially will turn red.
Oh.
That's how it works, folks.
Learn something new every day.
I don't think you're supposed to be using these tools like I am right now, but these all have to be Loctited on. Remember someone was giving me shit the other day about starting bolts with impact? I said that's just what I do. Home stretch, gotta put the belt on, which is like a nightmare in itself. Alright. That's not good. Oh god, I'm an idiot. I still got valve springs and all that stuff on this. You ain't turning that thing by hand. I panicked. I said it's in a bind, but this thing still got valve springs on it. I almost shit my pants right there.
I saw it.
How am I going to turn this over to get it dot to dot is my question. With the belt, I guess, and I'll just turn this freely. I'm going to turn this until it's down here. Do you guys, listen, we're problem solving together, okay? This is just me and you. That's all it is. I forgot there's valve springs on this guy. I haven't put the belt on yet. Scott was putting the belt on all the other times and it looked like hell. Can confirm it is about how it looks.
Put them grippers on it.
Come on, cuzzo. You know what I'm talking about from TikTok? Well, guys, that's how you install it, okay? Just make sure it's dot to dot and then degree your cam from there. I'm wrapping this video up.
Sounds good to me.
I'm wrapping this video up. Y'all ain't gonna watch me cuss at this thing for the next 2 hours, okay? I'm gonna order me some Jersey Mike's. It's Monday, okay? We're gonna get to the video hopefully by 2 o'clock.
You read my mind.
Jersey Mike's. Take all the rocker arms off this thing. Get this thing right. Degree the cam. Boom. We're done, cuzzo. We're done. Take this back off. Oh my God. Take this back off, and then I gotta drill it for the damn magnetic pickup. We made it real far, David. We did. I'm proud of us. I am proud of us. We did great. I didn't put any. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't put any RTV on the top part of the front cover, which I don't think will be an issue, but it's way easier to do this not in the car. I will say it's way easier to do this when you don't have valve springs on your motor either, because then you could just spin the cam with no push rods in it. So get it lined up, because I grabbed this and I was like, holy shit. I mean, this thing's got some big ass springs on it. So all right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe. This Innovators West stuff is absolutely badass. We got, as you can see, the front cover on there. That motor looks like $1 million now. People are gonna think I have a billet block, which I do not have a billet block, but these things are badass. If you guys are interested, Innovators West, first link in the description below. The second link in the description below will be the information to our Storm Training Day Rodeo coming up on February 4th, right around the corner. Be there, be square. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe. We gotta see you later.